desperate trades or desperate, moves that deplete their future. Like, we want to win. We understand we're getting older and deeper into our careers, and allowing some of the young guys to kind of blossom.
Honestly, I feel like it's time for Steph to stop being so loyal to the Warriors franchise. Instead, he should take a page out of LeBron's book and push the front office to make some serious moves before it's too late. If you're a die-hard Golden State fan, you might call this blasphemy, but let's look at the facts. The Golden State Warriors just got absolutely demolished at home by the reigning champions Boston Celtics. 40 points is the worst home loss of the Steve Kerr era and the biggest one in the 21st century for the Warriors. What was supposed to be a showdown between the 2022 finalists became a one-sided beatdown. If that doesn't scream we need a big change, I don't know what does. Look, the Warriors started this season red hot at 12-3 with everyone thinking, hey, Golden State is back. Then reality hit and they went on a 10-19 slide to fall to a 22-22 record, hovering around the play-in in the Western Conference. Not an indication of contender status, let's be honest. It's a free fall that exposed all sorts of problems. Injuries to key rotation guys, an offense that ranks in the bottom third of the league, and a worrying lack of depth. Meanwhile, the front office keeps talking about not mortgaging the future. Even Draymond, Steph, and Kerr have all gone public saying, save the draft picks and save the young core. Which sounds noble. They all want the Warriors to transition gracefully from one generation to the next. But the way I see it, we only have a few more years before Father Time catches up with Steph. And on the line, we have one of the greatest legacies in NBA history. A legacy that would become unparalleled with another title. I'm not sure Golden State really wants to waste that on a first round exit, or even worse, no playoffs. Listen, I'm not saying blow up the whole team for some fringe all-star, but the Warriors need to look at what they actually have in these young players. Jonathan Kuminga is the headliner of that future core. He's putting up around 17 points, and at 22 years old, he's shown flashes of real potential. The problem is, while he's been injured, nobody else in that young brigade stepped up. Moses Moody has had some decent games, but he's not exactly forcing a conversation about being untouchable. Brandon Podziemski and Trayce Jackson-Davis are still question marks. Then there are those upcoming first-round draft picks in 2025, 26, 27, and 28 that the Warriors seem to be reluctant to move. You can't blame them for wanting to protect the future, but can you really bank on those picks and a couple of partially developed players, of which none seem to have true superstar potential, to carry the torch once Steph is gone? Before I go into why they shouldn't, make sure that you are subscribed to our channel. We really appreciate your support and it helps us keep going, so subscribe. And now let's get back to the video. So here's my main point. Steph should learn from LeBron. A lot of people hate LeBron for it, but you've gotta respect his track record of forcing the issue. He suffered in the first half of his career whilst playing for a small market team that no superstars wanted to join. And so he formed a big three in Miami. A big three that landed LeBron his first 2 rings. Then when he came back to the Cavs, he made sure to have a young star in Kyrie as well as a prime Kevin Love by his side, which led them to a championship in 2016. When he joined the Lakers, they had Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Kyle Kuzma, a bunch of young talent that could have blossomed. LeBron came and basically said, okay guys, listen, I have no time to waste and I'm here to win right now. So they flipped 3 of those prospects for Anthony Davis. The result? A championship. Sure, it was the bubble ring, but it's still a ring. LeBron has never been shy about telling the front office exactly what he needs, and he's absolutely ruthless in trading away young players if that means getting closer to a title. In contrast, Curry is the loyal superstar. Not only did he play for the same team his whole career, but he also trusted the Warriors' front office for over a decade. And to his credit, it has paid off big time. Steph led Golden State to 4 championships. That 4th ring in 2022 actually might be the reason why Curry is so reluctant to push the front office. In my eyes, the circumstances were actually clouded by the final result, because I feel like the Warriors were quite lucky in that championship run. Whether it was the Murray-less Nuggets or still a bit too young Celtics in the finals. You see, he finally got his well-deserved finals MVP, which was crucial to his legacy. If he was still stuck at 3 rings and 0 final MVP trophies, there would be far more pressure on him to push for an overhaul of the roster. Instead, some of that urgency was just gone. And here's why I think it shouldn't be gone. Legacy-wise, a 5th ring catapults you into another stratosphere. You join an exclusive club with guys like Magic, Kobe, Duncan, and actually Steph Curry, all of whom have 5 titles. That's a big part of why some rank Kobe above LeBron. Rings matter in these legacy debates, even if we pretend they don't. To be fair, winning one more championship would put Steph in a conversation with the greatest point guard of all time, possibly surpassing Magic Johnson in some people's eyes. But that doesn't happen if the front office is holding on to late first round picks and hoping Moses Moody becomes an all-star one day. It just doesn't. The Warriors did make one mid-season move, trading for Dennis Schroeder after DeAnthony Melton went down with an ACL injury. On paper, Schroeder can score and facilitate, but his skill set overlaps with Curry's in terms of needing the ball, so it doesn't really work. It is a minor move in the grand scheme of things, and it highlights the problem. These halfway trades aren't enough to put you back up into contention. There's talk that the Warriors might chase a big man like Nikola Vucevic from the Bulls, since they backed off the idea of acquiring wings like Cam Johnson or Jimmy Butler. Honestly, that might be for the best. Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green in the same locker room could really be a reality show in itself. But the point is that the Warriors, at least in my opinion, aren't looking around the league for the right answers. They're also rumored to be saving up for a Giannis move this offseason, but more likely it will be moves that don't require giving up their entire future. The question is that enough? Personally, I really don't think so. If they keep losing games to contenders the way they did against the Celtics, they are in danger of missing the playoffs altogether or squeaking into the play-in only to get bounced. If you're Steph, do you really just settle for that possibility just to stay noble? I mean, yes, he's been the face of the franchise and probably wants to retire in a Golden State uniform. Yes, he believes that even with the roster they have, they are able to make a championship run. But the reality is that it's not looking good for Golden State. And I believe that you can stay loyal and still demand your front office to get a bit more aggressive as other players do it all the time. From the front office's perspective, are they ever going to find another legendary player like Steph Curry? Well, just remember how many years it took to find such a gem as Steph. And if they do, it's hard to imagine that will be anytime soon. I feel like at this point, Golden State has 2 paths to move forward. Number 1. They trade some combination of Kuminga, Moody, and those future firsts for a major frontline upgrade or a legitimate co-star to help Curry. Number 2, they stand their ground, hope that the youngsters develop fast, and basically gamble that Curry remains MVP level for another 3 to 4 years. In a sense, hoping they can contend with a young core led by a, let's say, 39-year-old Curry while still having a bright future. I feel like in the NBA, you either go full throttle into the rebuild or go all in and build around a superstar. If you're halfway committing, you're doomed to be hovering around that play-in spot and wasting the prime of one of the greatest NBA has ever seen. Of course, making a rushed move just because is also not a good option, so let's just see how Warriors played this one out. I'm curious to know what you think in the comments below. Does the Dub Nation value nobility over another title? Or is it time for Curry to go full LeBron and demand help? Don't forget to drop a like on this video, also subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.